The perfect cookie. Yeah, I mean, I guess everyone probably thinks that they've figured out the perfect cookie. And I think the truth is nobody ever really will. After all, firsts are meant to be beat. At least that's what someone said to me the other day. And it's really true. You can make the best thing in the entire world, but at some point, someone's probably gonna put a little bit more work in than you did and make it better. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do today with the chocolate chip cookie. I'm gonna spend hours and hours researching the best cookies ever. I'm gonna look at every single recipe, every single article, even documents on the characteristics of the perfect cookie. And then I'm gonna put them all together to make the best cookie ever. Now, I feel like people like their cookies in different ways. Some people like a really thin, hard, and crispy cookie. Others like that really thick, gooey, delicious, mushy cookie. I kind of like to think about it the way I think about pizza. You know, you have thin crust pizza that's really crispy when you bite into it and just has that tiny thin layer of cheese on top, and it's fantastic. But then you also have Chicago deep dish pizza, which of course is ooey and doughy and gooey and very, very thick. Thick with a bunch of Q's at the end. But my goal with this cookie recipe is to have a cookie where you can just adjust the baking time a little bit and basically get one or the other by just baking it a bit more or a bit less. I am very excited because I think this is gonna be a game changer. Now, because this is our cacao series, I will be using a cacao pod to get my chocolate. But don't worry, I'm gonna make sure that I use all the same ingredients that you do, and you'll be able to follow a very simple, normal recipe that will not include a cacao pod. It just tosses in a little extra fun challenge for me, and I know you love watching me crack those things open and use that delicious cacao flesh. So let's get started. As always in our cacao series, we start here with the humble cacao pod. I got these shipped overnight from Ecuador, as usual, and they are fresh as can be. Let me quickly give you a little up close look. Those ridges on this thing are beautiful. It's been fully developed here and has that incredible red velvety color all throughout it. And then inside, as I turn it around, it has those nice yellow strips all the way down. This right here is a beautiful, gorgeous cacao pod. But I think all of you already know how I'm gonna open these bad boys. After all, when have we not done the karate chop? I feel like I almost broke my hand last time I did it, so let's just start with one this time. It's time for a new type of karate chop. Today, I will be using my foot to karate chop this cacao pod. No, it's not food safe, but that's why we're in our own kitchen here. Here we go.
That was perfect.
That was freaking perfect.
That was so perfect.
As you can see, that was probably the most successful cacao chop we've ever had. This is without me having touched anything. And that may have been the most even split we've ever gotten. Gotta say, I'm pretty proud of that. Now coming over here, you can see that these seeds are really fleshy and delicious looking. This means we have a really fresh cacao pod. And the more pulp that those seeds are holding on to, the better they'll taste. The fresher these are, the happier I am. I'll scoop all these seeds into the bowl and just listen to that sliminess. Once they're all in there, I'll mix them around just a little bit, trying to kind of shake off a little bit of that pulp. Then I'll just take a nice kitchen towel and cover this up for about a week to let these ferment. For these cookies, I really want to develop the flavor out of that cacao. So I'll see you in a week. We're back, it's me.
It's me.
Why did I say that? But we're back. We really have waited over 7 days and we have our cacao beans. As you can see, they've taken on almost this orange brownish color, but more importantly, they smell like a thoroughly fermented bread. Again, we've done this cacao series so many times that I don't want to go thoroughly through the same process every time because I know that just gets boring for you at some point. The next step, as you know, is roasting, so I'll trade these out for these. As you can probably tell, these have been roasted. And when we take one of these cacao beans and crack it into our hand, we get these cacao nibs. And eventually, you've all seen me do this before, we get to the chocolate. Now, if you do really want to see me go through the full process of bringing this all the way from a cacao pod to chocolate, I have a million videos doing that. In fact, we just did one with BuzzFeed a week or two ago. But let's start from these chocolate chips here, such that you can make this unbeatable cookie recipe with me. Let's go. Right off the bat, you're gonna notice that my cookie recipe is not like the others. I mean, yes, there's similarities, but I like to think that mine's a little bit more clever. And that's just because I've done my research. I'm definitely not tooting my own horn because I have a lot to learn in the baking world. But one of my two special key ingredients that I use is milk powder. And there's a reason. When I make cookie batter, I like to use cold cubed butter. There's a massive difference between using melted butter and cold butter. So I like to keep the butter as is. But I love brown butter. And I was thinking one day and I said, how can I get that brown butter flavor into my cookies? The key is milk powder. When you brown butter, you're really browning these milk solids that are in the butter. You'll notice because these little golden brown specks will start to appear at the bottom of your butter, and those are the milk solids. So when you burn butter, the milk solids are really what are getting super dark and black and burning and giving off that burnt smell. And clarified butter, which you've probably also heard of, is simply just butter without those milk solids, which is why it's able to go to a higher temperature. So what I've done here is I've just bought pure milk powder, which essentially isolates the thing that we get golden brown and has that nutty flavor. And I'm gonna add it to a pan here and move it around over high heat until it's well toasted. What I have here is 1/4 cup of milk powder. Getting this nice and brown is actually not the easiest process in the world, but I find that if you take a stainless steel pan and get something that you can constantly scrape the bottom of the pan with, you'll eventually end up with a nice golden brown toasted milk powder. As you can remember, we started with a really bright pale white powder. So as far as I'm concerned, this is toasted and ready to go. Next, we're gonna chop 1 cup or about 8 ounces of butter. For cookies, I often like to use this really yellow Irish butter. It's a little bit more expensive, but damn is it good. With your knife, slice that butter into nice medium-sized cubes. We want this butter to remain nice and cold, so right after slicing it into a bunch of cubes, I'm gonna put this back in the fridge until we're ready to put it into the mixer. To make our cookie dough, we'll start with a cup of brown sugar, a half a cup of regular sugar, and a few cubes of our butter. I like to let this start whisking and then gradually add in the rest of the cubes of our butter, letting this go for about 5 minutes until it's nice and creamy. After a little bit, you're gonna reach this clumpy phase. That's usually about 2 or 3 minutes in, at which point I like to bump up the speed a little bit and let it get nice and fluffy. At this point, we're gonna add in 2 eggs, 1 at a time while we're still mixing. I know I like to brag about my one-handed egg cracks, which again, isn't that difficult to do, but still, it's fun. But here, I like to crack with both hands to really be sure that we don't get any shell in here whatsoever, because that's really hard to find once you mix it in. Once I've let that first egg incorporate, I'll go in with my second egg. Then at that point, I'll add just a teeny bit of vanilla extract, about a teaspoon or so. At this point, preheat your oven to about 410 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't like to preheat my oven way before baking, just because it ends up being a waste. But when I'm partway through my recipe and I generally have a sense of time for my oven, I'll start to preheat it. Now at this point, I'm gonna add 2 3/4 cup flour, our 1/4 cup of milk powder, another one of my secret ingredients, 1/4 cup of malted milk powder, 1 teaspoon of cornstarch and 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and just a little smidgen of salt for now. We're gonna put more on the cookies when we go to bake them. Again, I'll close this down and let it combine. Now into our cookie batter, we're gonna add about 1.5 cups of our chocolate chips, and we're gonna save about an additional half cup for later, and I'll explain why. If at this point of the process you find yourself trying to put raisins in here, stop. You've done something wrong. If you're putting raisins in your cookies, don't worry, I still love you and I still want you here, but I'm guessing you also put pineapple on your pizza. I hate to say it, but it's true. Gently combine the rest of this dough together, and then I'll show you how to ball them up and bake them. First, I just wanted to show you how awesome this dough is. Look at it just hanging out there on our whisk attachment. That right there is some formidable dough. First, shape your dough into a ball. Damn, that is some thick dough. But seriously, when I go to shape my cookies, I grab big balls right off of the main piece and then smack those down on your baking sheet. Because these are gonna be big, ginormous, delicious cookies, we're only gonna do 6 of them. And don't worry about shaping them into a perfect ball every time. It's okay for them to have some imperfections here. After all, these are delicious home-baked cookies. To start, take the rest of those chocolate chips and press them into a few spaces that you feel need a little more love. I for one actually like to lean on the less chocolatey side for my cookies, just to make sure that you end up with a cookie that's right for everybody. Our final step here will be to add just a little bit of flaky salt on top of each cookie. You don't have to salt your cookies if you don't want, but frankly, I believe it gives a perfectly well-rounded cookie. After all, we pretty much season everything every day with salt, so I feel like many people are surprised to see how much they love a good well-seasoned cookie. Now we're gonna bake these in the oven at about 410 Fahrenheit for 9 to 12 minutes or so. I'll see you on the flippity flip. And they're done. I didn't even really know what to say. I mean, look at them. As I've tried to say many times over, food is and can absolutely be sexy. All of these cookies you're looking at right here are some of the sexiest cookies you'll probably ever see. But for right now, they need to rest for a few minutes. With one of these hot cookies that's fresh out of the oven, I wanna show you the gooey factor here. Check this out. First of all, look at all that chocolate on the inside. This thing is more than just a cookie. It's almost a cake cookie. And yes, I'm sort of destroying this one, but in an attempt to just show you how amazing these are. Normally, I wouldn't pull this off the baking sheet so quickly, but the fact that as I hold it, it crumbles and dissolves in my hand into what's essentially an utter mess shows that this has that cakiness that we're looking for. So I think we passed the first test. Let's move on to the next one. Test number 2 is crispy. And yes, these are still fresh out of the oven, burning hot. In fact, that chocolate in the last one actually burnt my fingers pretty bad. I'll tough it out for you though. What I wanna show is that crispy edge on here and those lightly crispy bits on the top. We want a crunch in our cookie. We want everything. So the real question is, does this have our crunch? Oh, it has the crunch, all right. It has the crunch and then some. That crust is buttery and chocolatey and everything you could ever need. But don't be fooled, because the second I lift this out, we have gooey, cakey, drippy chocolate. This is just to show you that I didn't pick a really thin, weak cookie for showing you a crunch test, because this one passes the first and second, as do all of them. Now let's move on to the third test. Our next test will be the chocolate test, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that there's a really nice even amount of chocolate throughout the cookie. If I turn it around, you can also see that we have nice chocolate spread throughout. So I think we passed this chocolate test with flying colors. In addition to that, you get a bonus by seeing the bottom here. Some of that butter has has sunk down to the bottom and given them a beautiful golden brown crust. The base, the foundation of the cookie is so incredibly important, as is every part. Just right here, I got your standard run-of-the-mill cookie. I pulled this bad boy right out of my cupboard. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love these cookies, but don't be fooled for a second. I would never make a cookie like this. Now, these are purely for one thing, getting a quick burst of crispy deliciousness. It's all got that caramelization, that golden brown, but it's gonna help us with our next test. The height test. When I get a cookie, I'm not trying to get ripped off. I could fit like 5 of these cookies stacked on top of each other in just this one. All right, maybe not 5, but you get the point. And you can only make a cookie so tall, but I think we knocked the height test out of the park. What's really great about these cookies is that they have that height in the middle that gives you that cakiness, yet they flow down on the outsides, almost like a volcano, to give you those brown crispy edges. Now, we have 2 more tests. We have the flavor test, and then we have another test that maybe you won't be able to predict so easily. That's the pesto test. It's the special judge we all know and love. It's Pesto. Yes, he's my cute little, amazing, incredible little hamster. And he absolutely loves food, and we feed him all sorts of stuff. But unfortunately for us today, chocolate's really toxic to hamsters, similar to dogs, I guess. Thank goodness we figured that out. But still, we want to have Pesto run towards one of these cookies and tell us which one he would theoretically eat if he was allowed to have cookies. Pesto, you know what to do. You see, folks, he's at least pointing towards mine, but I need him to get a bit closer before I'm comfortable. Come on, do something. Like I always say, folks, Pesto knows best. Now again, I can't let the poor guy eat the cookie, but I'll give him something else. For the hard and brave work he's done today, he deserves a raspberry. Good boy, Pesto. Everybody loves you. And now to finish things off, the tasting. I know this is the moment we've all been waiting for. So I'm gonna start by breaking it open in half, showing you that cakey interior, and then taking a bite. Just look at all that melty, delicious chocolate. Look at that perfect golden brown crust. Look at that fluffy cake-like texture. Take your time, guys. We're just making cookies. All right, good. Someone needs to teach that guy how to back up a truck. I'm telling you right now that if you make this cookie, you will never look at or appreciate another cookie the same way again. It's pretty much just 2 simple ingredients that we're adding here. Yet this cookie is mind-blowing. I don't exaggerate when I say that I could sit down and eat the entire tray of cookies myself, and in no time. And another thing, yes, these cookies will go well with milk, but you know what's cool? They already have a bunch of milk in them. In addition to giving that golden, nutty flavor, one that basically you get from brown butter, that milk powder is called milk powder for a reason. If you add water, it turns into milk. Oh! These are truly game-changing cookies. And I really hope, not for my sake, but for your sake, that you'll give them a try. In the meantime, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to toss a quick like if you liked it. And again, if you didn't like it, don't like it. That's totally fine with me, seriously. But if you did, I really do appreciate it, and it's a simple thing to do that helps us keep cranking out these videos for all of you. Additionally, please don't forget to subscribe and go on over and check out Instagram too, because I do a ton of giveaways there. I feel good enough right now about these cookies that I'm gonna go pick a fight with the Cookie Monster. I'll see you later.